What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of Late Night Reds. I'm Skylar Webker, kind of a new face around here. He's Ben Brown, friendly face, familiar face. Ben, how you doing?
What up, what up, what up, baby? It's good, man. It's good to be back here. Reds are freaking hot. We got the best pitching staff in the league. It's exciting stuff. So I'm ready to talk some Reds baseball, my man.
Absolutely. Before we get into it, for anybody jumping in, I just introduce myself. I'm Skylar Webker. I work with Tim over on the blog, The Shot, The Stop. We kind of all met through, the Riverfront and our Slack channel. Lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan, kind of to a fault. At some point, I start every year thinking they're going to the World Series, man. But I'm a homer.
Absolutely. You have to.
Exactly. I'm a homer. I always think the best of this team. And I just love talking with Reds fans, being a Reds fan and sharing in our highs and our peaks and our valleys, as Nick Krall would put it.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, man. That's the best part about sports, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here and I'm living and dying with Rory McIlroy this afternoon, trying to watch the Masters, and I'm like, man, like this is the great thing about sports. This is the great thing about being a Reds fan is that, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, but man, we're locked into it, and right now, man, I'm pretty excited. It's pretty cool to see what they're trying to put together here.
Exactly. I'm just. Yeah, well, let's get into it. So we put out there kind of what we were going to cover today. We want to talk through, since this is our first episode of this season, kind of talk through our season highs so far, our season lows, and our season mess. Like not great, not terrible, too early to decide. But you kind of led into it. We'll start with our pitching, which has been an absolute high. I mean, we came into this year thinking there was going to be the weakness. They didn't have enough depth or enough top-end talent. And boy, have we been wrong, because that starting rotation has looked phenomenal.
Yeah, man. It's cool to see because, of course, we had the big let down on opening day, with Ian Gibaut, failing to close the game. And I mean, that's all we heard about, right? Like, oh man, we knew this was going to be the issue. We knew that pitching was going to fail us. We knew this, we knew that. And man, those guys, ever since that day, like they have been just solid as a rock. I mean, the starting pitchers, the relievers. I mean, you're looking at a guy like Eric Pagan come in, dude, and just start shutting doors. You're looking at Ian Gibaut bounce back. I mean, gosh, big ups to him, man. I mean, after a day like that, most guys would have tucked tail and ran, dude, and he just came back, and it's just been incredible, And then you're getting the starting pitching. I mean, you're getting guys come in and giving you 6+ innings of just good, solid pitching work. Andrew Abbott, you know what I mean? Like guys like that, and our other starters, dude, they've been just incredible. I mean, enough. I mean, not only just Skylar, or not only just Hunter Green, but just all the dudes in that rotation, dude, have just been lights out. I mean, it's been a lot of fun.
And you mentioned that, like, I'll touch on Gibaut. Like, you're absolutely right. It takes a consummate professional to have the opening day, the sellout crowd, being in the organization. You know how big opening day is, and to have a moment like that get away from him, to be able to bounce back from that and perform as well as he has. I think he's given up 1 run since opening day.
Yeah,
that's kudos to Ian Gibaut, just kind of figuring it out. And to the other end of, like, these guys are stacked. To, like, you remember last year with David Bell, most of the year we had a 5th day bullpen day.
Yeah.
And it's so good to not have that. It's good to have a good starting 5.
Yeah, man. It's just a different feel. And I feel like it's competitive, right? Like Like Hunter Green's going out there and he's not just competing against the other competition, like he's competing against the guys in his rotation, which is what you want. You want every guy to come on and take that ball and be like, man, I got to be better than the guy that went before me. So, I mean, Hunter's on a streak now. I think it's 18 and a third or 18, 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball. It's something incredible. Like he's just been so dialed in, and watching him go out and just pitch the way he has been great. Then you've got Singer, you've got Lodolo, who actually, he was the biggest question mark to me, because if I knew he had gotten back into form, dude, he was going to be incredible because he has just got that kind of stuff. So you're seeing Lodolo come into form. Singer was solid. Abbott's been great. I mean, it's just been a lot of fun to watch. And those guys have really kind of put the team on their back, because let's be honest, I don't want to jump the gun, but offensively, we haven't been great. I mean, there have been times when and man, our pitching has just came through and kept us in games and put us in position to win games. So yeah, it's been really fun to watch those guys come together and compete, and not only just compete against the other teams they're playing, but compete against themselves as to who's going to have the better outing, who's going to be the guy that's going to shut the door, who's going to be the guy that's going to do the things that it takes for us to win ball games until our offense starts to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Hunter Green here. I have the insaneness pulled up here. Over his last 13 starts, Hunter Green is sporting a 1 ERA. Opponents are hitting 129 on him. He has 90 Ks, 90 to 21 Ks to walk ratio, and he's only allowed 4 home runs. That's 13 starts. I mean, that's almost halfway of a regular season worth of data here, and it's incredible what Hunter Green has been doing. It's very best pitcher in baseball, Cy Young, for what he's been doing basically since the All-Star game.
Yeah, man. It's I'll say this, and I think we've talked about this. I've talked about this a lot of times. Hunter Green's always had the stuff. I mean, his stuff's always been electric. He's always had that fastball. He started to add he added the splitter. He's got a slider. I think the hit rate on the slider is 0.00. Like, you can't touch it. I don't think he's given up a hit on a slider yet. But he has started to develop into being like a pitcher's pitcher. Like,
right.
It's nice that you have the stuff to be able to do what you'd be able to do, but in order for you to get major league batters out inning after inning after inning after going through their order 2 times, 3 times, you've got to have stuff that's going to battle, and you got to have stuff that's going to be effective pitch after pitch. And he is learning how to pitch to every guy. He's not just trying to overpower people anymore. He's not just trying to do things that are going to put other people into a different situation. He is really learning how to pitch a true pitcher's game. So it's been a lot of fun watching his growth, his maturity. Watching his press conference today when he's talking about, I'm just trying to be the best guy I can be every time I get the ball, and seeing that maturity and that growth and seeing his development. Like, he has become a true leader, not only just in that pitching rotation, but in that locker room. I mean, you can see it. When he takes the ball, our guys play at a different level. They know that they've got an opportunity to win every game he takes the ball. And I think our guys go out to the mound feeling that way as well.
Yeah, he has this instilled confidence in much more than just the fastball. So when he first came up, that's pretty much all he would throw most of the time was the fastball. And he would just rev it up and kind of, say hit this and probably press too much or lean too much on the fastball. Now that he's got the splitter on him, the slider, he's got a curveball. I think he's just much more confident in his repertoire, that he is able to get guys out, be more efficient, not just be so reliant on that fastball. So now he's going deeper into games, as we saw in San Francisco. He was one strike away from getting his Maddox. It's incredible that his growth and just the way that everybody's rallying behind him with this growth, and kudos to the front office for getting that extension done early, because every start that extension's looking better and better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he is looking like an early Cy Young contender when he takes the mound. And when you go in and that has to help too, right? I mean, like they went ahead and extended him, and it's like people don't understand what that does for a person, knowing that the organization that you're with has complete confidence in you, that you're going to go out and do the job day in, day out. So it's cool. It's been a lot of fun to see his maturation, his growth, and his leadership come through, and him being able to do the things that he's able to do. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. So going from our 1 to our 2, and not by far 2, Lodolo, you touched on him. He's looked great this so far this season. He's kind of changed his pitching mechanics a little bit to prevent the blistering issue that kept reappearing, and really looks good. Like he looks like he got a full off season of training around him versus just rehabbing all off season.
Yeah. I know that I feel this way, but I feel like he has, like, as far as left-handed pitchers wise, he has some of the best stuff that you'll see. I mean, his stuff is just filthy. And we talked about this last year. For him, it was just about being able to locate those pitches at the right time, during the right at-bats, during the right situations. Knowing that throwing a ball low and away on a 3-1 count that could possibly be a ball that's not a swinger's pitch isn't a great idea. You have to start pitching the batters and getting them to do things that you want them to do, and not trying to dictate it by a pitch location. So, watching him being able to do that now with the way that he's been able to get guys out, the way that he's been able to do different things, you could tell, and you bring up a great point. You can definitely tell he had an off season of just work. You know what I mean? Not just rehabbing from an injury or a surgery or whatever the case may be. Like you can tell that he had a whole off season of just changing his mechanics, getting things down, getting different pitches, doing different things that it takes to get guys out on a more frequent basis, because he's got the stuff. I mean, it's like I said, his stuff left-handed wise is some of the more filthy stuff that I've seen from a left-handed pitcher. So being able to have a full offseason of just being able to work on mechanics and not have to worry about injuries and rehabs and all these other things that he was doing all those other off seasons has been a bonus for him. And it's competitive. Like I said before, like Hunter Green's taking the ball before you. You don't want to be the guy that's taking the ball for Hunter Green and being like, man, I can't get the job done.
Right.
So it's a competitive pitching room. And that's what you got to have when you put a group together. Like all those guys heard that stuff all season long, all the stuff that people were saying, all the stuff that people were talking about our pitching staff being, not being the strong point. We didn't go out and get relievers. We didn't do all the things. Like they heard that stuff all year, man. You can't tell me that those guys are professionals, that they're not competitive. So they're going to go out and try to do the job. So it's been a lot of fun to watch.
You bring up this point about Lodolo kind of changing how he's approaching these batters. And Pat, longtime friend of the pod, Pat Magooch, has a perfect comment here. Low pitch count and innings are worth way more than just pure strikeouts, which is right on the head. I mean, I think Nick Lodolo, when he first came up, that's it. He was striking out everybody, which is great, but he was not going very deep because it took a lot of pitches to get these guys out. And so the efficiency that both him and Green and we'll get into Brady Singer are coming out with this early in the season is really encouraging, especially just like keeping Derek Johnson on the pitching staff with some of the other kind of changes around Derek Johnson, with Tito bringing his guys in and stuff like that. I think just seeing how that is playing into these guys and their developments of these guys. It's going to be exciting. 162.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to see their maturation and growth. It's just been really cool to see those guys, and that's a great point, to see those guys work innings and not just try to get strikeouts. I think that's a great point. Hunter Green fell into that category as well. Like, I feel like when he first came in, all he wanted to do is strike everybody out, which I think that's what most young pitchers want to do when they have gas like he's got. But you can really see them start working counts and trying to stay low in counts and trying and trusting their fielders, right? Like, pitching the contact, pitching to the right contact, putting the balls in position, using scouting reports where guys' hot zones are, where I can throw them, where I can't throw them. So you can also start seeing that stuff coming into play. You bring up a good point as well. I think coaching has a big part to do with that, because you got to have a coach that's going to put you in the right positions. Now, you are professional athletes and you are responsible for reading scouting reports and all that stuff, but it's good to have coaches that trust in your stuff and are able to say, okay, well, this is what we're looking at. This is what we see. This is what we need from you day in and day out. And I think that's been really important as well, being able to put them in the right positions in order to go out there and be as effective as possible.
Yeah, and one person I will tell you that's getting kind of the benefit of it is Brady Singer. I mean, this is a guy that's been primarily a ground ball pitcher, and he's eaten innings. I think he came in with 180 innings last year. Hitting that 200 inning mark is kind of a stretch nowadays, but he's an innings eater. And look, this is probably the best infield defense we've had since Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto and Cozart and Todd Frazier. I mean, you have Ellie and McLean, who are, they could be very easily Gold Glovers. CES is pretty nimble. I mean, he's putting together a good defensive effort over there in first when he plays. And then having Espinal in the corner for now until kind of some other guys get healthy is one of the better infield defenses that we've seen in a while. I mean, we're far from the days of Eugenio Suarez at shortstop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps. I think it helps on that end. Defensively having a group of guys behind you that can make plays, and aren't afraid to make plays. I think it's been a downer that McLean suffered the injury that he had, but I do think that Espinal does a good job of filling in, and I think that there's Gino catching strays. But I do think that Ellie cures a lot of ails, man. I mean, he's just so long and rangy and athletic that anything that's hit to that side of the field that he can take care of and get outs with his range, with the things he can do with his arm. It's very rare you're going to be able to hit the ball to that side of the field and be able to get a hit. So it's good to see that all those things are starting to work into play, because you're having pitchers that are throwing really good games, and they're going to need outs from those guys as much as possible.
Well, we kind of touched into the next point. The next season high that we've had is, I mean, Ellie and McLean look amazing together. I mean, they look like Jordan and Pippen, LeBron and Wade. They look so good, playing next to one another.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, there's something with familiarity, right? Like it's those guys just, I mean, they play minor league ball together. They know each other. They're really good friends, and there's something about that familiarity when you got a guy that's next to you all the time, knowing where he's going to play, where he likes to be, even on double play balls. Like my kid played baseball growing up. I played baseball growing up. Even on double play balls, you got to know where your second baseman likes the ball, where he can turn to. You got to know where your shortstop likes the ball, where he can turn to. You got to know which side they like to field the ball better to. You got to know those different things. And I think those two just have just an innate connection of knowing which one is going to be where at which time. and they just have a good feel for one another. I mean, I think that's when you're playing that middle infield, you got to have that. You got to have that connection. You got to have that vibe. And those two, I think, generally just enjoy playing together with one another. So it's cool to see. They're both Gold Glove caliber players, and they both enjoy when the other makes plays. So it's always fun to watch. It's always fun to see, and I think those guys are tough.
Yeah, even beyond just their defensive part, like I think these guys like protecting each other in the batting order too. I mean, those two seem to just be the perfect kind of 1-2 punch in the 2-3 hole. And then I love TJ Friedel being in the leadoff position. I think that top three right there is really, really potent. And boy, I mean, just they're. I'm going to show you Ellie De La Cruz's Baseball Savant page.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty red.
Yeah, it's red, man. Yeah, it's red. Dude, he's just a special player, man. He's just so fun to watch, and I hope people don't get down on the strikeouts and all the other stuff because he can do so many other things. He's just such a special player and a special talent, and once he's just scratching the surface. Once he truly gets it and he starts to put it together, man, it's going to be scary because he's just got that special innate ability to be able to make plays and do things that other people can't. Like it's just he's just a special player. That's a lot of red though.
Yeah, it is. This is it's incredible to see all this red and this guy that plays for the Reds. And one of the big harps on him was, he never gets the big hit or he can never be there in clutch time. And we see him hit a grand slam against Pirates on Saturday night. I mean, he's just stacking them up, man.
Yeah, dude. It's just funny to see because in my lifetime of being a Reds fan, like it's very rare we get a guy that just excites the city. Like of course Ken Griffey Jr. was incredible, and having him here was awesome. Eric Davis was my guy. Like he was just
Same.
he was just incredible, and his stretch from 85 to like 91, dude, he was the best player in baseball. I don't care what anybody says. He was just incredible. But to have a guy like that plays for your team and is able to, just the base running alone, like the other day, he steals second, steals third, causes a throw to go into the outfield and 2-run score. Like you just don't get that with everybody in baseball. Like he can create that just by being on the base pads with his speed and the way he's able to do things. So to have that guy on your team and to see him come in and day out, and I just hope people are patient with the at bats because he does still have the strikeout issue a little bit, but he's 22, 23, something like that, something ridiculous. Like he will start to develop more and more as the year goes on. And you took his protection away. Matt McLain's out. Once McLain gets back, I think somebody mentioned that, once Austin Hayes gets back as well, like you're going to get guys in that lineup that are going to protect him, and he's going to start seeing some more pitches, and he can start being a little bit more selective. You have to realize, with baseball, with him and where he is in the lineup, with the guys that are around him, he's got a lot of pressure of trying to make things happen. So sometimes he probably swings the pitches that he probably shouldn't, trying to make something happen. So once you get those guys back in the lineup to be able to protect them a little bit and be able to do some of those things, it'll be nice to see when we get everybody back healthy what this lineup truly can do.
Yeah, and I also think just with his length and how tall that guy is, I'm a big fan of the ABS system because he gets called on the most balls out of the strike zone than anybody I can remember.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I think his stature in the batting, in the batter's box, and there was, gosh dang, who else was like that had that issue? There was there was another player that had the same issue where just being so big in the box, it hurt them because they
Yeah.
felt like, oh man, like that's at the letters or that's here, and they're not realizing that dude, he's like 6'4", 6'5". Like you got to give him a little bit of leeway. And he does. He gets some terrible, terrible call strikes. Like they're really bad. So hopefully that changes, and it'll change with stature too. The more he's able to do at the plate, it'll start to change a little bit. He'll start to get some of those calls.
Just got to be in the league long enough to get the ums to be on your side. Get blue on your side.
Seth said it. Adam Dunn. Yep, he was another one too that he was so big and menacing in the thing. Like his strike zone is just it's weird and funky, and sometimes umpires, and pitchers, to their credit, pitchers take advantage of it because they know what the umpires are going to call and how they'll call it.
No doubt. So I mean, those are kind of our season highs. Obviously, a small sample size. We're 8-8, 16 games in. We can go to our season lows, and I think the first place to start is the outfield has been a problem.
Yeah.
Like we're running with one major league outfielder right now, and that's DJ Friedl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd that comment go?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I genuinely feel bad because it's like I like Jake Fraley, but dude, they showed that ball today that like he dove for it, it rolls to the freaking. I'm like, come on, man! Like what are we doing? Like what are we doing?
The fact that it's like the second one this week.
All right, you know what I mean? Like what are we doing here? Like it's tough to watch, and I know we talked that it's been a discussion for the Reds fans forever that we needed to pick up another outfielder. We needed to do some more stuff with the outfield, and I mean we picked up Austin Hayes, of course, but Hayes, of course, is hurt. You have Friedl, but yeah, man, it's been a struggle to watch because it's just at some point it's going to come back and bite you at some point. And it could have today. That could have been a run. I would hope they would charge this an error, but unearned run. But if you're in a big game and you misplay a ball and it rolls to the wall and you give up 2 runs, like that's the difference between winning and losing. So at some point you've got to take a look at it, at running at some kind of outfielder in a trade or something. You got to make some kind of move to get another outfielder. Because at some point, if you want this team to be a true contender, you got to be solid defensively in the outfield. You can't just run with guys that are that you think can spot you here, spot you there. Because at some point, that's going to get you beat.
Yeah, and I have Joey Gaditza's question up here. And, when Hayes and McClain come back, they're scheduled to come back Tuesday. Who gets sent down? I kind of think Tito might send Fraley down to not as a punishment, but like you're not immune to your mistakes. I could see Tito using that as an example. Like we demand high end and excellence into this. So if you're not able to do that, we got to find somebody else that can, or you could need to go work on it so that you have the ability to. I mean, he's already has Will Benson on one of the shortest leashes I've ever seen. So, I think that the leash might be getting tighter for Fraley.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Pat brings up a good point too. Like, I saw that he did hit some balls well today, just right at people. But the bad part about that is that I don't think you can hide that he can't play in the outfield. Like it, you know what I mean? Like he has some struggles. So I just don't know how long you can go with that. But I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I know Austin Hayes comes back, but that solves 2 of the 3. So then what do you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like you still need another outfielder. Is it Jacob Hurtubise? Is it, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm hoping that maybe they make a play for an outfielder in the trade or do something. But at some point, they're going to have to do something if they want to be a contender.
Yeah, and Sydney brings up a good point here. Lux has looked fine out there. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing stellar, nothing bitter. He's not missing easy balls rolled to
He's not
him.
missing. He's not missing pop flies.
Exactly. So I mean, he's looked fine for never being in the outfield. And I think he's getting some good at bats together. So you're gonna have to try and find a place for him to play. So I mean, it's a good problem to have, but the other kind of piece is our continued offensive struggles. It seems like all right, it's just the hitting coach. Get a new hitting coach. All right, it's David Bell. Get rid of David Bell.
Yeah.
So this is kind of something that seems to be steadily a part of the Reds organization, is just these guys not able to get started or no run support. I mean, they went on a stretch this week of losing 3 games in a row by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them were shutouts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that could be, man. Because of course, you're missing Matt McLain, which that's big. Austin Hayes, I think that's a big one too. So you're missing 2 guys in there that I think that would help that some. But I don't know why I feel like we always start slow at the plate. And that could, that could be, anything. I really don't know. I've never, I don't know enough about professionally baseball hitting to know why that would be. But it's just, it seems weird to me that every year that seems to be the case. I don't know, like you said, we've changed hitting coaches, we've changed head coaches, we've changed, we've done all these different things. I don't know what could change that. I don't know what could possibly make them start off a little bit hotter, or maybe it's a thing where it's just April. Maybe it's April and they'll figure it out, and I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it could be April. It just seems like guys are either starting slow or cold, and then you just quite never get off the ground. I mean, the main offender is Candy. He is the main offender of this. I actually saw a tweet on X or Twitter or whatever Elon wants to call it nowadays. But other than Nick Castellanos, can you remember the last free agent that they signed to multiple deals that worked out? And not a guy that they traded for, not a 1-year rental. Who's the last free agent that they signed to multiple deals that actually was good other than Nick Castellanos?
Oh, that's a great question.
I don't have an answer.
I was going to say, that's a really good question.
Chat, somebody help us out.
I was going to say, we'll have to go to the chat on this one. Yeah,
Trevino they traded for, Sonny Gray that they traded for. So those guys don't count, even though they signed them to extensions. I really cannot genuinely, I've been watching this team my entire life, cannot remember the last free agent that they signed to multiple years. Scooter Gennett, I would qualify, even though they got him on the waivers. Yeah. I would qualify that.
Yeah, okay, Sid. Yeah.
Seth is in here trolling us with Moose. I think next to Candy, Mike Moustakas is the worst.
Mike Moustakas would be right there. 1A, 1B.
Yeah, exactly. It might just be what it is. Shogo Akiyama, jeez, I forgot about that guy. All right, now we're just getting into trolling territory.
Now you guys are trolling us.
So it could just be slow Aprils. It could be just bad free agent signings. But you'd like to get out of cold springs and get started with momentum because this is a very winnable division. Yes. And I think this team is, with the pitching that we've talked about, this is the first like hope I think I would have in a playoff, because the pitching is that good. Emilio Pagan has been good this year. He wasn't stellar last year, but I would accept Emilio Pagan. I would also accept Nick Martinez. He's actually been really good.
Been tough too.
That's, they signed him.
That one. I don't know. I think too, when you go into a season expecting Austin Hayes, Matt McLain, and Tyler Stevenson to be in your lineup, and all three of them end up on the IL, and Steer, honestly, Steer isn't healthy. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's going out there giving it the old college try, but he's not healthy. I mean, he's trying. I mean, Felipe Lopez, come on. I mean, he's out there doing what he can, but I think he's 0 for his last like 18, 19 or something like that. So, I mean, he's trying, but when you go into opening day expecting to have a healthy Steer, a healthy Tyler Stevenson, a healthy Matt McLain, and a healthy Austin Hayes, that's 4 guys in your lineup that you're expecting to be able to do things, and now all 4 of those guys are out. I mean, that's got to put a damper in the start of your season. I mean, those are 4 pretty good bats that you're starting off on the IL. Well, McLain didn't start off on the IL, but he's there now. But those are 4 really good bats that you're missing from your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other note I have here for our season lows is that injuries that have mounted this early in the season. Austin Hayes, Tyler Stevenson, Spencer Steer, Andrew Abbott, Alexis Diaz, Matt McLain. I have Steer in here twice, but then you have guys that were kind of fringe, like Rhett Lauder, who could have made this opening day roster, but is now unavailable to injury. So like it could be, Terry openly admitted that he pushed these guys pretty hard this spring, and I think he did that intentionally for to find out what you got, but maybe help mitigate some of these slow starts that we've had. And to his credit, like, this is not the worst start the Reds have had in recent years. We're not 3-24, or what was it, 3-28, 24? I can't remember. That was a bad year.
It was terrible. Whatever it was.
I remember 3 wins and like 20-something losses in a row.
It was like 3-24, 3-20, something like that. Yeah, it was not good.
So I'm hoping, like you said, I'm hoping these injuries are contributing a lot, and I think you're right. I think they are contributing a lot, especially in your offensive production and how you line guys up. But I'm glad they're happening now at game 16 versus game 116 when you don't have the runway of the season left. But these are things you don't want people nagging. You don't want injuries to nag or something like Spencer Steer to give it the old college try and do anything worse. I think when Tuesday comes along, they probably do some IL gymnastics and Spencer Steer hits it and brings back McLain and something like that. I'm sure they do some sort of IL gymnastics to get everybody still here without burning options and anything like that.
No, I agree with you. I think that I'm appreciative that Spencer Steer at least tried because he was able to at least fill a gap for a little bit there. But I'm hoping that once we bring McLain back and some other things like that, like they'll be able to put him on the IL and get him healthy and be able to do some finagling and get some guys moved around to where, like you said, it doesn't cost you options, doesn't do other things. You can just go about your business, put him on the IL, and then bring those guys back. But to be a 500 ball club with the injuries that we've had, to be where we are right now, I mean, we won a series in San Francisco, probably with the hottest team in baseball. I mean, San Francisco's 8-1. Going into that series when we played them, we took 2 or 3 from them, and to come and smash the freaking Pirates, which everybody loves.
It feels so good.
Dude, it feels fantastic. It feels fantastic. So, so to have that and to be where we are, it's nice to see that. Like you said, it ain't 3-24. So I mean, it's nice to see. It's nice to see our guys have battled. It's nice to see that our pitchers have really stepped up and stepped in and have done a really good job. And the guys that have been in the lineup, I mean, we've had some timely hitting. Espinal has had some timely hitting. We've had some other guys have some timely hitting. So it's there. You got guys that can step in. But, man, once we get to full strength, it'll be nice to see.
Absolutely. So let's get to our season mess. Like I said, led into not good, not terrible, maybe too early to tell on some stuff. I think the first one is kind of Tito himself, either his roster construction or some of the in-game decisions have left some questions around everything. And I think some are justified. I think some are we expected so much out of Tito. Like when the news broke, we all, myself included, lose our minds. Like, this is the guy. We got him. We got our guy. The old George Bush, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
Like that's all I can think of. Yep. So I think maybe we built this up on a pedestal quite a bit. But I remember like opening day, Ian Jabot coming out there to close the game and everybody going, why Jabot? Why that guy? Why not why not anybody, literally anybody else? Because we had no faith in him. And he's since worked to restore that faith. And just some of the lineup decisions or anything like that. I think I talked about it with Seth on the Riverfront this week. I think he's just trying to learn what he's got on this roster still. Maybe weed some guys in, weed some guys out. And also, it's really been like he's only had 1 year away from the game, but it was more like 2 because he was gone most of that last year due to health concerns. And think about how much the game changed in 2 years. I mean, the pickoff rule, the batter or the pitch clock,
pitch clock,
everything, pitch calm, pitch everything changed in kind of the 2 years. So I think he's not only I think he's getting back up to speed into kind of this new landscape of baseball that we have.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's one of those things where when you step away for a little bit, it's going to take you some time to get back into it. Now, of course, he's a lifetime baseball guy. I mean, that guy, I mean, he's got World Series rings. And I'm still in love with the move. I'm still glad he's our manager. I'm still glad that we were able to pull him off of a golf course in Arizona and have him come and manage our baseball team. None of that changes. But I think also with that, I think that there is a learning curve, right? I mean, I think that there's some things where he's learning his team, they're learning him. And, I've sometimes, I always go back to, and I always think about this, when the college kids went and played the dream team. And, Chuck Daly was the coach, and which was, I like Chuck Daly. I thought he was great. But he didn't play Michael Jordan. Larry Bird didn't play. Some of these other guys didn't play. He wanted to see what he had without having the best player in the game. So then the next day, Jordan plays and they beat him by 50. I think Tito is just trying to figure out what he's got and then put them in situations to where they can be successful. You don't know if Ian Jabot can close a game until Ian Jabot tries to close a game. And he tried, and that's not his spot. So then he puts him in middle relief, and he's been freaking fantastic. Right. I mean? You go with Pagan, who's able to close games now with Alexis Diaz being out, and Pagan has been great. So I think there's things where, one, I think he was trying to learn some of that stuff, but two, his hand's been kind of forced with the injuries. So you're having to play guys that maybe you haven't been around a whole lot. And now you're having to play them day in and day out because, man, like it's just what we have right now. So I think that's where he'll start to figure it out. We'll look up in 60 games into this season. We'll be like, oh man, when everybody's healthy, man, I think we've really got it going here because he is comfortable with his guys. You'll start to see guys come in and do the job that we know they can do. Guys will be playing at a level that he's expected them to play at. And we'll be like, oh, man, like, yeah, now I'm figuring out why he was doing the things that he was doing. Good managers, good coaches, good, leaders of teams always figure it out. And I don't think there's anything in his history that tells me that won't happen. I mean, he's done it with 2 different franchises, and he's had success everywhere he's gone. So I think he'll be all right. I think he's just trying to figure out what he's got,
I agree. And the part about the success everywhere he's gone to or Boston, big pockets, big city, big media market, to Cleveland, none of those things. And he was able to build a Francisco Lindor, a Jose Ramirez, a Carlos Santana. He is able to build think about all the pitchers that he built out of there with Trevor Bauer and Mike Clevenger in their heydays, and Corey Kluber, and I could go on and on about that 2016 Indians Guardians team. Think about all those guys that he built, and most of those guys, I would trade about anybody other not named Hunter Green or Ellie De La Cruz for Jose Ramirez. I would give up the farm, the current team, the stadium naming rights. I would give everything up for Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, dude, he was solid, incredible. Yeah, so it's cool to see that he's done it before, but even in Boston, I mean, those guys weren't well-known guys, but Jason Varitek, Poppy, those guys weren't well-known. Yeah, Dustin Pedroia, like those guys weren't well-known guys until they were developed by Tito. So then you're like, oh yeah, he's got some dogs that we see, but yeah, it was cool to see him develop those guys and see what they became, and we're able to put World Series caliber teams out there year after year.
Yeah, so I think Tito is going to, we're game 16. So let him figure out what he's got both on this team and in the farm. Let him figure out who's set up for what to succeed. I think that's Tito's specialty, is finding where people succeed and putting them in there.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we got it. I think we made it through the first inaugural episode with us.
Yes, sir.
This was fun. I'm so excited that you want to keep doing the show and allowed me to come on. I know you and Tim have done this for a very long time and always been a fan. So it's really great that that you let me into the family.
Oh man, we're excited, man. It's when I got the call and Seth was like, man, we're going to bring it back, I was super stoked. I've seen you on the Block the Shot to Stop, and I love what you're doing there. And to be able to sit here and work with you on Sundays nights, man, I'm excited.
Awesome. You want to do another hour? Let's go.
Hey, let's hit it.
So for that, we'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The chat was so lovely tonight, lively. Thank you for Riverfront for having us be a part of your guys' family. Thank you for Blue Wire for giving us this opportunity and this platform. Go check us out anywhere on social medias. We're out there, and we'll have the Riverfront show, the Welcome to the Jungle show, kind of Cincinnati content through and through. If you're listening to us on your audio platforms, please give us a review. It helps us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, how we can make the show better. Ben and I are just Cincinnati fans, and we like to talk with other Cincinnati fans.
Absolutely, man.
So for that, he's Ben Brown. I'm Skylar Webker. Good night, everybody, and go Reds.
See you guys. Go Reds.